Streams of Consciousness, episode 1. These are all streams of consciousnesses. These are all a stream of consciousness, but this is just a free ball. I don't have anything in mind specifically that I want to speak about, but I want to see what comes to me and what thoughts I have been thinking recently. One thought that I've been thinking of recently is making sure I figure out my future. And not just figure out my future, but making active steps towards that future. Sometimes I pronounce F's like TH's, like future instead of future. I don't know what that is, but I digress. One really pressing idea that has really been in the absolute front of my mind is the idea of just actively doing things I've been putting off. I need to get on cold calls for my business. I need to actually do that, and for the past week I haven't made one. I booked a meeting for Tuesday and the person didn't turn up. That's a good thing. That is one person closer to the first yes of my new idea. So if anything, I see that as a good thing. Also makes me realise how to fully assess if someone is a good lead as well. If I don't actually just put the time and effort into these things, I will never progress in them. And that's just a fact. It's you need to put effort into things in order to grow them. And that is literally a fact of life. You can apply that to anything. A seed can only grow into its full potential if it's grown in the right environment, using the right nutrients, using the right things to grow that thing, whatever it is. Think about a moped. A moped can only be a moped if you have the exact right amount of ingredients or vehicle parts to make it into a moped, to make it into a motorcycle. So what's going to make you into the version of yourself that is not even the most successful, because success has so much surrounding ideas around it. Success is so subjective. You could see success as a doctor, for example, a doctor or an engineer, but that doctor might not be living a fulfilled and happy life. You might be a GP, you might be a dentist, you might be successful in the eyes of the world, but are you successful in your pursuit of happiness, in your pursuit of just cultivating your inner fire? And that is one of the most important things. As a man, I think that we have the weight of having to sustain other people and be the breadwinners of our family and all of that. And especially in this day and age, it's hard to even put yourself in a position of thinking of a family. That is I'm not ready for that at all. And you can blame society, you can blame the system and all this and that. I'm just not ready to walk into that part of my life. And I'm happy with that. The idea of having to provide, the idea of having to have a family, those are also ideas. And that's just generally what people have done for X amount of years, for a lot of history. But I feel like that we're in a generation where people my age are not really having kids. And that's becoming the new norm, which I think is a really good thing, because people are being more conscious of the population of the earth, because we're just going up and up and up. Conditions are going, conditions are not getting improved. Actually, to be fair, it just depends on where you are. I feel generally conditions are being improved. But people were just multiplying, having babies after babies after babies, especially during the Industrial Revolution, because the more bodies you had, the more active production you had. But the main point that I'm trying to communicate is the fact that you don't need to do anything. You don't need to have kids. You don't need to put yourself in a position of working a dead-end job because of the fact that you need to sustain your family. Like, if you're not in a position of having one, then think about like how free you are, how little attachments you actually have. Like, you can use that, you know what I mean? Like, you can actually and actively tap into that freedom and that free state of mind, because that free state of mind is essentially going to help you to understand and actualize what you personally define as happiness. And I think that is it's like a subjective, it's subjective, but then there's also science behind it. Like, I do genuinely believe that every single person has their own version of happiness, but there is science behind happiness. I'm not saying that like evidence-based and that based and whatever. I'm saying that essentially there are ways and like a certain number of things that add up to become happiness within yourself, and not just like instant dopamine, quick laughter. Like, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like internal well-being, like always being in a meditative state, always feeling fulfilled and good, like you're at homeostasis, like you're at equilibrium consistently. And I think understanding that and understanding your own version of that requires a lot of self-reflection, and self-acceptance, and almost the ability to be able to adapt, to be able to look yourself in the eye and say, I might not be good enough right now in this moment of time, but I'm not going to allow that to make me feel like I intrinsically, within myself, I'm not good enough for this world. I'm not good enough to exist. I'm not good enough to essentially succeed. Like, it's not about that. It's more so if you want to do a trick on a skateboard, you need to become proficient enough to do that trick on a skateboard. Whether or not you can do that trick, you should still be calm and content within yourself. Like, you shouldn't beat yourself up just because you can't do a trick on a skateboard. That is just ludicrous. And I think a lot of people beat themselves up for not being able to do certain things, for not being able to be certain things, that it stops them from even trying to do it. It stops them from even thinking of the possibility of learning to do that thing, because they've already made the decision that they can't do that thing and have started to beat themselves up over the fact that they can't do that thing, which then just completely destroys any potential of learning that thing in the first place, because of the fact that the spirit has been dampened enough to not even allow you to attempt to become good at that thing. So being able to just be calm about where you are, but then also aware enough of where you are and aware enough of where you want to be, will allow you to tap into like making the right decisions that will move the needle in your favor, that will help you to become the person that you truly want to be. But in the back of all of that, whilst you're trying to become the person that you want to be, you need to remain calm and happy with who you are right now. So that's a stream of consciousness. Thank you. Follow, subscribe, please. I'm trying to grow this thing. I'm trying to grow this channel. I'm trying to put out ideas that can help you and I and we and us to live a life of just a little bit more happiness, a little bit more fulfillment and purpose. So yeah, subscribe for more, like the video, comment. I'm always down for a conversation. Bless.